Hey guys, this is Justin back with an engineer's perspective, and I'm doing another mini review today on the Tojiro DP 160mm Bunka. This knife is, as I mentioned, 160mm from heel to tip in length. It has a height of 39.5mm back here, a spine thickness of 1.7mm. It has a weight of 176 grams or 6.2 ounces. Handle diameter at its thickest back here is 23.5 millimeters. It's a very full handle that you can really get a good grip on and lots of control. Balance is right there on the bolster, kind of in that transition. So it's neither front nor back heavy. This knife is kind of in a weird spot where it's almost a full-size like chef knife, but it's small like a utility knife. And that's what actually drew it to me, is in my kitchen, I do a lot of prep work on bigger, nicer cutting boards like this. But what ends up happening also is smaller cutting boards get used throughout the day. And I wanted something that had a kind of a more full knife feel, but would work well on those smaller cutting boards. Talk about the steel. So this is the 3-layer construction steel, meaning it's got a soft stainless steel cladding on one side, a hard VG10 steel core, and then soft on the other side. It's hardened to about 60 Rockwell, so it's going to be quite a bit harder than any German steel, but on the lower end for Japanese steel. This is made in Japan. It is, I almost forgot these details, full tang construction, triple riveted on I've heard is a micarta handle, maybe also palm resin style handle. You've got a welded on bolster, so they just weld this on and then polish it out, and that's totally fine. I will say these come pretty decent from the factory, but sometimes the pins will stick out a little proud. These ones don't. And then the finish, this kind of meet up with the bolster sometimes leaves a little bit wanting. There's a little gap there, but nothing too crazy. Let's see, the edge that's on it, it comes from the factory at maybe about 15 degrees per side, and it's about 9/1000ths behind the edge. So it's a little bit steeper of an angle than you see on a lot of these knives, but it's not terrible. And from my experience with Tojiro's VG10, it appreciates that 15-degree angle, I think. So I personally enjoy it there. Let's see, performance of the knife. So this is the interesting thing that I found with it is, for me, it's not quite tall enough to get board clearance. I don't know if you can see that my knuckles are contacting at the back here. So I don't actually get knuckle clearance with it. And because the grind on this knife is not full flat ground, which in that case would mean starting from the spine to the edge, it goes down. Instead, it's kind of what you call a saber grind, where it keeps the spine thickness up to this line, which is called the shinogi line, and from there it goes down. And that's okay. I actually prefer this style of grind, but what they've done is they started this line too late. It should definitely be higher up on the blade. So it's a little bit wedgy because the grind is a little bit too low. Easily improved by hand because of this soft cladding. You can put that right down on a stone and grind that up, but that's work and it's not gonna look like brand new anymore. But I was just gonna demonstrate it on this carrot. So, you know, because I don't have that good knuckle clearance, I end up doing a decent amount of the work with this front area of the knife here. And you can see I can cut through hard vegetables pretty easily, even though I'm just kind of using this front part versus the back kind of power area. If you have issues with the knuckle clearance, just come to the edge of your board and counter. And then, so here's me rocking with it. So I have to come off the board with my hand to rock it. But it's a decent performer. It's on hard things like this carrot, it's a little bit wedgy, but it's not awful. If you do the rock, it has a softer heel than a lot of these Japanese knives will. So it's not the worst rocker in the world. You know, it's not there is kind of a very casual but constant belly to the whole thing. So it can rock, it can slap chop. So whatever you prefer, it'll do both. This knife runs about $77, and I think that is a good value, but my opinion on this knife is it's worth that price, but there's other Tojiros that I think are smarter. So like their 170 millimeter Santoku, I think is a much better option than this, just because it gives you that knuckle clearance and it's a much better slicer while still having that pretty compact size. So that's where I would steer people, would be towards that Santoku. But if you do pick this knife up, it is a great knife. Good handle control, good steel and overall construction, especially for that price, it's hard to complain. So that's all I've got for you. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.